Happy Showcase Sunday, everybody. And this week's Showcase Sunday is coming with the amazing Mel Kinsella of Kinsella HR. Now, we're going to introduce you, Mel. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Okay, hi everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm Mel Kinsella and I am the Director and HR Consultant for Kinsella HR Solutions. What I do, I support small to medium-sized enterprises with all things people related. So what does that mean? If you've got concerns over your productivity, a very hot topic at the moment. If you've got problems with performance or absence, disciplinary grievance, or you just want someone to come in and coach individuals and support them with what your expectations are as an organization, I can come in and do all of that. And the killer question is, why do I do it? And I do make a lot of people laugh because I always say, if you cut me in half, it's all HR. Everything that I've been doing over the past 25 years, it's all been either learning and development related, educational related, or HR related. So I do it because I'm passionate about it. And if any of you do know me that's tuning in on this wonderful Sunday, you'll know that I eat, breathe, and sleep all things HR. I'm currently the CIPD chair for Cumbria. I interact on a regional and national basis, and I talk all things HR. So that's why I do it, because I'm passionate about it.
Amazing. That's
Answer the
excellent.
question.
I love that, Mel. And it's really important because there are lots of people in your field, as we know. So what is your unique advantage? How are you unique and different? What's your unique selling point as opposed to your competition?
I think my USP is the experiences that I've had in my many moons on this planet. I hail from the Midlands, which is a very industrial area of the country. I have lived in Scotland, so I understand the Scottish law, the Scottish way of doing things. I love Edinburgh, Glasgow, amazing places, amazing people. And now I live in fantastic Cumbria. So I think my USP is that I'm well travelled, I'm very knowledgeable. I have all my qualifications, I have all my credibility. So, and I feel that I'm quite, I think I'm quite a mavericky person. I think if anyone who meets me, they'll be like, wow, that Mel Kinsella, she's different. And I like to be different. And I like my clients to feel that they're important and that they're special. And I'm the only one at my organization. So you'll always get me at the end of the phone. I've spoken to a few clients recently and they really actually like the fact that, you know, they've got access to me and it's not a call center down in Leicester. Enough said about that. And that's what my USP is, that I'm always there. I live in the county. I am, you know, an adopted Carlisian, I like to say. So that's what my USP is, that I'm, you know, knowledgeable, experienced, and I'll always be in your corner, always championing your organisation.
Brilliant. And you work all over the UK, don't you?
I do work all over the UK, but you know, home is where the heart is. I love Cumbria, so that's where my heart is. But yes, I do work with other organisations across the UK and Scotland. So again, I bring that wealth of experience talking to other people in your sectors and finding out what's going on and you know, support as much as I can in a HR space.
Excellent. And just to clarify, SMEs are anything up to
Small to medium-sized
250 employees.
enterprises, yeah,
Yeah.
from one person organizations up to, I would say, 50 in an organization would be a
Okay.
medium-sized organization, yeah.
So 50.
Yeah,
Excellent. No, that's
50
brilliant.
is a,
Yeah, because the government's like band of SMEs is from 1 to 250. So I just wanted to clarify who
um,
you were happy. So
yeah.
50.
No, I mean, when for a HR person, when you're getting up into the realms of like having 200 members of staff, you've probably thought about having a HR person permanently,
Yeah.
because your turnover will be such that you can afford to have a full-time person. The space that I occupy is for organisations that are listening to this conversation that can't afford a full-time person, but can afford, a person like myself, that I'm at the end of a phone and that I can support them and they don't have to pay a full-time wage. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And get the backup support along the way.
absolutely.
So, what do you do right now that will help and support and is relevant right now and in the future for the hospitality industry? What is it that you do?
Okay, so when I think about the hospitality industry and other sectors as well, because I think everybody's feeling a little bit of, the cost of living crisis, things like turnover, not being able to recruit the right talent. How do I convey my expectations to my team? I've literally just started, employing people. How do I convey all of that? Um, the services that I offer can support that. So in the onboarding process, I can support you to build what that looks like so that people are up to speed a lot quicker. Um, if you're looking to actually recruit talent, and retain them, I can support you in, writing that strategy. And when I use the word strategy, I'm not talking about a 100-page document. I'm talking about thinking through, where are you going to attract from? How are you going to bring them to your organization? That type of thing. So yeah, that's me.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And as always on our Showcase Sunday,
Go on.
we ask about 5 top tips. Have you, Mel, got your 5 top tips to help and share
Yeah,
businesses right now around the
certainly
UK?
have. So, first top tip, be clear about your expectations. Again, as I've just said, Alison, I've spoken to so many people and I've had to get rid of such and such a person because they weren't aligned to my organization and stuff. So, my 100% top tip, what's the purpose of your organization and what are you expecting from your employees? Top tip number one. Be clear about your goals and your objectives. What are you trying to achieve in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months? Take the employees on that journey because there's nothing worse than having an employee that don't understand the objectives of this organization or our direction of travel. So that's top tip number two. A big one that's come up quite often in conversations I have with clients: flexibility. I run a restaurant that runs from X time to X time, or I run a hotel and it runs from X time. I can't afford for people to be off or having that flexibility in their lives. It's a major thing at the moment, and it's something that as a business owner, you need to have that flexible mindset yourself. So if you haven't got any flexible policies, I would really encourage you to think strongly about your opening times, the times in the weeks that you open, all of that type of stuff. It's really important to people that you could potentially employ. A big one for me is be kind to yourself. At the end of the day, we're business owners, but we're human beings. We're part of families. We've got families of our own. We've got things that we enjoy doing socially. So be kind to yourself, and also be kind to your employees. And my final top tip is about the environment that you're bringing individuals into. Make sure it's positive, encouraging. There's, achievements are recognised, and that you actually share and celebrate with each other. So those are my 5 top tips on
I
this
love that.
great
And it is
Sunday.
all about enjoying the journey. The amount of people who
Exactly.
forget about enjoying the
Exactly.
journey
Enjoy it.
because they're
It's really
so
enjoy it.
busy. And you're so right, and I'll probably add a little bit onto that, Mel, if I may, about when you were saying about being really clear of what the expectations are. A lot of people in business forget to communicate that. And
Absolutely.
that's so important in inductions. I say it all the time. You know, you can't tell somebody off for doing something wrong if you've not actually told them the rules of the
Exactly.
game.
Absolutely, 100%. And I
Yeah,
hear that from a lot of clients, I've had to get rid
yeah,
of such and such a person, and they potentially could have been the right person, but
yeah.
and sometimes you have to be realistic with yourself, how communicative have you actually been, or did you just think it and then move on to the next task? Because sometimes you're so busy, you think you've told somebody something and you haven't actually told it to them, so yeah, it's just being clear about what it is that you expect.
Yeah. And flexibility doesn't have to be shutting your restaurant early or anything like
No,
that. It can
no,
just be, it can just be, you know, do you have to have everybody in at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning? Does everybody have to
yeah.
be there until 12, 1 o'clock in the
At
morning?
night,
Or,
exactly.
you know, can you do a rota system that helps and supports everybody to have a morning
Absolutely.
off or a night off or
And like I
um,
said, take people on the journey because you're obviously employing people that have experience. I know that sometimes you don't, you build people up, but they may have worked in other restaurants, hotels, and they've done it in a slightly different way that potentially could help and improve your business. So don't leave them out of the journey. Take them on it with you.
I
If that
love
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that.
let's
I love
do it.
that. It's so important because there's no I in team, is there,
There
Mel?
is no I in team. Yeah, try and spell it. It's terrible. It looks awful on the screen if you try and put an I in team. It's awful. So,
So, have you got any examples of how you've helped anybody in the industry, but anybody in business save time, and how would your clients say you add value for them?
so, so for me, one of the most important things is about that efficiency and making sure that whatever processes recommend or suggest to organisations that they do save them time. So one example is an organisation that I've recently worked with, where were thinking about the different types of contracts that they were actually going to be putting into their organisation, and contracts are really important. And please, another tip: make sure that you give a contract on day one or even the day before day one. That's top tip number 6. Um, but they were thinking about how creative they could be with their contracts so that there was the elements of flexibility, and it was in the I'm going to call them the creative arts. I don't want to call them out on this call. I will
Yeah,
call it the creative arts. Very creative people, very expressive, very all about expressing their art and what they do. So one of the things that we talked about was what type of contract would be applicable in that situation. So what we came up with was a basic contract, but it had flexibility in as much as we had like a statement of work that we had, rather than it be this long, laborious contract, and something that they could talk through with whoever they were bringing on board, and know that sometimes it wouldn't be the same for everyone that you employed or had in your business. And that kind of saved them a bit of time thinking, oh no, we're going to have to write this laborious long contract, and everyone's going to be different. So in that aspect, I saved them a lot of time thinking about what it is that they wanted in that statement of work. And as I said, it would be different for everyone that they brought on board in their organisation. So that's one of the examples.
wow, that's amazing, amazing. And if someone was sitting on the fence right now, how dare they? Just saying. um, about working with you, you know, what you know, what you've done with your clients, what you've done with your past clients, your present clients, you know, what would they say about you? Because it's really important to
Absolutely.
get and I think, you know, there's a lot of businesses out there saying, oh, it's all right, I'm covered with HR, but they're not really covered with
And they're not
HR.
covered. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah. I mean, I'm experiencing that myself. It's. I mean, I don't want to out anybody on calls like this, but the. I mean, I think people will know what I'm on about. It's very difficult because they articulate it in such a way that it's very attractive. And I'm going to out it money. You know, it looks great because it financially, you know, it's cheap, and but you don't get the service that you think you're going to get, even though
Yeah.
you're paying that amount of money. Um, Working with me, I think it's interesting. I come at things from a slightly different perspective to others. Um, I will challenge you. I will, you know, sometimes it will be a bumpy journey with me. I ain't gonna lie to you, so it'll be uncomfortable. But it'll be uncomfortable coming from the heart, because I don't want to get you into trouble. I don't want you to, you know, go through any kind of litigation or anything like that. So everything that I would be talking to you about would be about mitigating any risk against any potential litigation. Um, Small situations can sometimes really escalate. I've spoken to a few clients recently, and you know, I'm like, why didn't you come and speak to me like 3 months ago, 6 months ago? Oh, well, I thought it would get better. I thought it would get better. So I'm a very challenging person. So if you're sitting on the fence and you like someone that challenges you and like sort of tickles your brain a little bit and go, you need to be thinking at it from these different lenses, then I'm your girl, definitely. But if you want someone that's gonna tell you what you want to hear
Yeah.
um, and butter it up, and then you get in trouble 6 and 12 months down the line, I'm not your girl. I'm
They won't be
definitely,
on this call, Mel.
yeah,
They won't be
I'm
watching
not your
this.
girl. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely not your girl. So I'm really friendly, I'm cheeky, I'm chatty, as you can see. I do like a giggle and I do like a good laugh. So yeah, I'm just an all-round normal nutty person.
Who'll make sure HR is covered.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's all about mitigating risk, and making sure that whatever you're involved in, whatever people issue is going on, that we manage it together, and that I'm one of your trusted partners and somebody that you do sort of come and call, and I'm a shoulder to cry on if that's all you want to do, or we can just have a coaching session about a situation that's potentially brewing. But yeah, I'm your girl if that's the kind of person that you like to interact with.
And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people, a lot of CEOs I speak to, have the conversation about have the conversation about can we actually say what we want to say? I hear that all the
All the
time,
time. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and and it's really important because sometimes they feel that they're shackled and they're not able to say what they want to say
Yes.
to their trusted employees that they've employed for a long time because of legislation,
Yeah.
legalities, etc. What would you say about that?
Such an interesting point. And you'll concur with this. When they're having that conversation with you, Alison,
Mm,
it's months down the line.
yeah,
And that's what frustrates them. Working with me, we can get to months down the line, but we'd have done all the conversations along the way. So I'll give you an example. When I speak to a lot of people about, you know, how have you dealt with a situation, or I've just sent them a WhatsApp, or I've, you know, we had a conversation about 12 months ago. I'm like, that's not good enough to try and
mm,
terminate somebody. It's just, you can't stand on that in court. It's not, it just wouldn't fly. It wouldn't wash because they've got the upper hand. Whereas working with me, you would have a process in place where it would be recorded any conversations of concern, any regular meetings, not war and peace, not a thesis, but just if there's anything that's happened, it's all recorded in a timelined way. So that safeguards you then. So when you come to the conversations with myself and Alison, I want to say what I want to say, you've got everything to back you up. But
yeah,
I think that's where it's coming from, Alison. I think
yeah,
it's a frustration. I think it's a build up. And then they
yeah.
come to people like me and you and go, oh, I want to sack them. I want to sack them. And I'm like, we need to not go there
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah. And sometimes it might not be that. They might just want to have a real open conversation. And I think it's important being clear of how you're
Exactly.
covered and how
Absolutely.
supported you are, that you can have that discussion before it gets to that.
And I think it is that it's the build up of conversations. So when the CEO comes to you,
Yeah.
they're confident that they've already had a lot of those conversations along the way. So when it builds up to that crescendo of a
Yeah.
conversation, then it's not so much of a blow. It's when it comes out of the blue, I think, is
Yeah.
sometimes puts managers and companies on the back foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely brilliant.
yeah.
Well, as always, we ask our Amazing Showcase Sunday interviewees, how do we get in touch with you? Obviously, it's right behind you.
It is right
Um,
behind me. Ta-da! So I'm at Mel at kinsellahr.co.uk. That's my email. And it's www.kinsellahr.co.uk. That's my website. And my mobile number is 077 806 9235. It's been an
excellent.
absolute pleasure talking to you all this one
Oh,
Monday.
thank you. And what's your preferred method of getting in touch with you, Mel?
Email's always good because then I
Mm,
can email you back information then if
yeah.
there's anything that you've got questions on. I'm also on LinkedIn, so if you would like to link in with me, it's Kinsella HR or Melanie Kinsella. And yeah, just link in with me if you want to. It'd be great.
Excellent, fantastic. So we'll put obviously the links to Mel's details at the end of our Showcase Sunday interview. Do you want to add anything else, or do you feel you've already covered everything? Is
I
there
think I've,
anything
I
that you
think
want to
I've
add?
covered everything. I think my parting comment would be just get in touch. If even if you're sitting on that fence and you're thinking, I'm not quite sure, still get in touch, have a conversation, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah, excellent. And if you're in contract with any company, still get in touch. It's always
Yeah,
worth being informed, make an informed decision rather than wait until you're out of contract and then you're not covered. So certainly
absolutely.
keep in touch. Well,
Brilliant.
thank you very much, Mel. It's been great having you on our showcase
Thank you. Thank you for
Sunday.
showcasing me. I appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. And we'll put all your details at the end. So happy Sunday, everybody,
Happy
and have
Sunday.
a great weekend. Take care. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.